I have absolutely no idea what happened in this chapter, but it was very entertaining. I really have no clue what just happened in this chapter. I'm gonna try and make some sense out of it because I really don't know. I read this chapter, but I'm just kind of like, okay, and like, what now? Like, what actually happened? So yes, we do have a chapter next week, so there is no break in that sense. Like, we don't have a break. That's good. But it's very funny how things end up happening with like the Chainsaw Man chapters. Anyway, so we have Chainsaw Man, the newest chapters, and yeah, we're gonna look at what actually happened and try and break it down and make some sense out of it. So we start off the chapter with Yoru performing a bang, and I guess this confirms that this is more of like a inability from the gun devil rather than from Makima herself. Let's remember that she did kind of start doing the whole bang thing when after like she made the contract with like the gun devil using all of these other people. So yeah, that's definitely a power from the gun devil. And what I find very interesting is like the concept of the weapons having basically full power and just having, I guess the parent of those devils kind of have complete and utter control over the full power. I want to imagine it might be the full power, or it might be like a chunk, a small piece of it. But it's very interesting the fact that Fujimoto introduced this whole concept of like parents, like mother and father of like the I guess some weapon devils. I don't know if this applies to everything. Like, for example, I can't think of an example right now. But like maybe like if like the katana devil, is there like a bigger devil that is above like the katana devil, the knife devil, like I don't know, like is there like a devil that is above them? You know what I mean? Like a sword devil is like the sword devil, the parent of like the katana and like knife devil. You know what I mean? Like I would find it interesting if Fujimoto could like explore this concept a little bit more. Maybe like could like the violence devil be the parent to like the war devil? Because again, it opens up a bunch of questions. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty interesting, but it opens up a lot of questions because wouldn't violence be like a primal devil, like a primordial devil? You know what I mean? Like wouldn't be, but violence wasn't like part one. He was like just some like random devil from what I remember. So yeah, it kind of opens up a lot more questions and answers. I don't think Fujimoto is going to use this at all, like ever again. I'm pretty sure he just used it for the whole thing with Yoru and that's it. So I don't think that it's going to have much relevance, but if it does, that would be pretty cool actually. So yeah. So she ends up using bang and all of these things, and she does end up saying that they are pretty strong and that they are fighting pretty well. Which I guess I would imagine that it's either like the full devil or chunk of it, or she's like she's able to use the full power. Which if she's able to use the full power, god damn, I understand why Pochita was severely hurt when it was asking for blood to be donated. So then she ends up having like a talk with Asa, and this really goes to show, like, either the thing that Pochita ate was very important to Asa, to Yoru. So, like, the partner, the comrade, the friend, the family member that Pochita ate was very important to Yoru, or it was either very important or her ego is so big that she's willing to sacrifice her own children. Because Asa does end up telling her, like, do you think that it's, okay for you to be sacrificing your children? And Yoru turns around and just tells her, they're my property, aren't they? And Asa's like, what the fuck did she just say? What did she just say? So yeah, again, either what Pochita ate is very important, or her ego is much, much bigger than her love for her children. So it's one of those things. It has to be one of those things, right? I would wager that it's more like her ego, because it just kind of, because as soon as she hurts Chainsaw Man and Pochita like runs the building, she starts yelling at Pochita, telling him like if he remembers her, like basically being like, acknowledge me, please acknowledge me. It reminded me a lot of that Dragon Ball Z bridge scene with Trunks and Vegeta, where Trunks was like, no, it is me, and Vegeta was like, no. It just really felt like that. It really feels like Yoru wants Pochita's acknowledgement. And I'm kind of leaning more towards it's her own ego that's making her do all of these things. But again, she did say that Pochita ate something that was very important to her. So that's probably the thing, right? So she ends up using like the Gun Devil's abilities and powers, and then like the members of like an association in like the US start losing their index finger, which is I guess the finger that you use to like shoot a gun. Which I don't really want to get into like all the jokes because that's kind of fucked up, right? But they basically nerfed the US in that sense, and they just took the fingers. I don't know why they took the fingers. I do know that in part one, if you remember, it was said that people, that like the general populace wasn't allowed to use guns to not create a bigger fear and to not give the Gun Devil more power. So in that sense, that's kind of the thing, right? But so I want to imagine that these people that are part of the association were specifically contracted to, use the power of the Gun Devil, but they would have to use their index finger. I'm pretty sure that some governments have devils, because I mean we saw it with like Japan and like the US in part one, where they have contracts with, and right now with like the aging devil, they have contracts for like mass sacrifices to use the power of that devil. So I would imagine that they made a contract where they would lose their index finger in order to use the power of the Gun Devil. And I imagine Yoru being the mother of weapons, the mother of dragons. I imagine her being able to do that. She can activate the contract and just, take these people's index fingers without her actually needing to, suffer any of these consequences. It could be that, because I don't know why that would have to happen. She either activated like the contract and now she can use the power willfully, and by activating the contract they lose their index fingers. It's a weird fucking thing. And then after that, she's like pointing her finger upwards in like the same position as like the Statue of Liberty, and then the Statue of Liberty and then Yoru like lifts down her finger, and then the Statue of Liberty's face cracks. I want to imagine that she's gonna summon a big ass fucking devil, and it's gonna come out of the Statue of Liberty. It might be another chunk of the Gun Devil or something. I don't know what it is, but those last pages had me confused. They had me very, very confused. Confused noises. So yeah, that happened. So my predictions for the next chapter are that what's going to come out of the Statue of Liberty is going to be another devil that Yoru is summoning, and going to use her for her own sake to just do something with Pochita. I'm definitely sure we are nearing the end of part one. Because Pochita is asking for blood. That was hilarious. So he was asking for blood. I don't think he's gonna get blood from that, but whatever. So he ends up asking for blood, right? So I think we're nearing the end of part two. She's going to summon this big ass devil, and then I think she's gonna cause WW3, like World War 3, or she's gonna cause a massive war, and she's gonna get buffed, and she's gonna get all of her powers back, and she's gonna try and defeat Pochita. And I want to imagine that hopefully by part 3, people will be on Chainsaw Man's side, so that Chainsaw Man can stop Yoru, or something like that's going to happen. But I'm pretty sure that we're nearing the end of part 3, part 2, because I'm pretty sure Yoru is going to summon the devil that she's thinking. She's going to end up defeating Pochita and taking that thing that Pochita ate out of him, and it's going to cause a havoc. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. But yeah, give me your predictions. Again, I'm very confused as to what happened in this chapter exactly. There are some things that are happening, you know, mostly Yoru's mental state, which she really wants some acknowledgement. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. So, bye-bye.